Lovely good evening to you, our viewers. Welcome to our news. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories on our desk this evening: government advised to consolidate all accrued dates to ease the burden. PF Vice President justifies the use of public resources in the last 10 years. Zambia's fifth Republican President, RUPIAH BANDA, reminds leaders to uphold peace. In international news, Sudan's Prime Minister HAMDOK under house arrest, and in sports news, Zambian players urged to emulate MWEPU and DAKA.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The news in detail. Residents of Mwandi village of Chief Kalowo in Mafinga district have called on government for quick intervention to help address some of the challenges they are facing. In an interview with Camnet TV, Ward Development Committee member in the village, DAKA Musokwa, says there is need for government to quickly address their plight. He explains that villagers in the area use stagnant water from the stream for their daily activities, which has continued to pose serious health threats. Meanwhile, Mr. Musokwa has also disclosed that the only school in the area has been left with one teacher as the rest vacate from the place due to alleged witchcraft in the area. Details in this report.
The rural environment is often the growth engine of a country. The food supply and the rural populations are custodians of the environment and ecosystems. But just like many other rural areas in Zambia, Mwanda village of Chief Kabombo in Mafinga district, one of the 7 districts of Mchinga province, remain underdeveloped. The residents are calling on the government to address some of the issues that the area continue to face. Lack of access to clean water in the area is among some of the challenges. Rural water suppliers have traditionally been overshadowed by urban ones. However, this has to change as the Sustainable Development Goals calls for water for all.
Our people always drink stream water, stagnant water. Also, we have challenges in water. Hospital facilities, we go very far, 100 kilometers from here to Kanyerere.
One has to endure a long walk under the scorching sun to fetch water from a stream. This walk has become a daily necessity if villagers are to meet their daily chores and livelihood. This stream is their main source of water.
They drink the water in this area. It is also a crossing point. As you can see, this is the road. This is where they drink the water.
The water is, however, muddy and unfit for human consumption.
Aya pamule monaya mule pone na mabula wale sukula kwa matawa yale so apa na ya bola le wala mumalanga twanwa au shiwa tule poromia kuchipatala na kwena pachipatala potu yatapava na meshina pena tabavika po boho ya kuti tuleta papo tutapake mumumano mwile so inaishana ishupa amabula yale wila mumumana.
The area has a poor road network, making it difficult for farmers to transport their products.
We have a lot of problems, especially concerning the road network. From the main road to Mpalai, there are no bridges. They are just man-made, roughly using logs and big trees. The road itself is really community participation. Yeah, it's the community that constructed the road from the school.
We have challenges. We have a school here. We had 4 teachers. 3 teachers ran away because of witchcraft. We are remaining with the 1 teacher and 1 helper. So we are seeking for help.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A 33-year-old businessman from Burundi was on Friday, 22nd October 2021, assassinated by unknown people at 10 Miles Market in Lusaka while entering his yard. Brother to the deceased says the assailants released 2 bullets, of which 1 hit the victim, who died on the spot while the assailants drove off immediately. The victim has since left behind a wife and 2 children. Meanwhile, police spokesperson Ray Hamonga has confirmed the development to Camnet TV News and says the gunshot penetrated the driver's window and hit the victim at the backside of the West, who died on the spot. He says the body has since been picked up and deposited at the University Teaching Hospital mortuary.
Nabwira nasegura windo namba kwitana Christopher muntu sayanga nabwira natumira barandiro bamene bicitika pano mfutuza mene zirirani cyane atika yasinize banene siniri pore kandi tumire ba madam ni fonse so ni setonze twankara confused twamba ko pakucho tepa mene banebe bapene banayamba manje gusiya kuyopa twabwira twasegura twacoka kocoka gufika kujya tunayangana abana bashuta futi moze mu screen ya kusogoro yinango mu screen ya kumbari ndepa mene tunatumira ndani ba polisi bakungwerere bambera bakambatire kandi dutumire vu mwanjuni ndeba pa fupi babwire babone incidents ya mene ya street.
A financial analyst, Chibamba Kanyama, has advised government to consolidate all accrued debt and pay the creditors so that the country can only remain with a few creditors to deal with. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Kanyama says consolidating accrued debt will leave government with enough breathing space. And Mr. Kanyama has called on government to investigate how most domestic debt was acquired and what the contractual agreements were in order to establish who benefited from the debt. Meanwhile, ZANACO Head of Research and Economics, Dr. Patrick Chileshe, says there's need to extend the maturity profile of the country's debt to allow more resources to be channeled towards economic sectors. Prudence Jota filed this report.
Summary of the Republic of Zambia's public sector debt as at end of June 2021 was equivalent to 26.96 United States dollars, including interest arrears. Information released by the Ministry of Finance on 21st October 2021 has shown that Zambia owes 44 creditors, among them bilateral, multilateral, plurilateral and commercial creditors. What this simply means is that the Republic of Zambia has been servicing its debt to 44 institutions, businesses or persons which has been affecting the repayment of debt. The former Minister of Finance, Dr. Wadangandu, announced that government was going to default its debt because there was no way it was going to service debt to one institution neglecting the other. I sat down with an economist, Chibamba Kanyama, who has advised the government to consolidate the incurred debt, pay some creditors, and ensure that it only remains with few creditors to deal with.
Restructuring the debt will prove to be very, very difficult as long as you have got this long list of 44 creditors. Because each one wants a negotiation. Each one wants. How long will it take us to negotiate with each one of these organizations? Even if we have little money to service debt now, who will be on the priority list? And one of the strategies I'm proposing now is let us discuss with 1 or 2 people. Let us find one of these creditors or anybody who is not on this long list willing to lend Zambia some substantial amount of money. Settle all these small ones and get them out of the way. That's the major thing. Get them out of the way, transfer that debt to another, to this bigger creditor. Transfer all this, get them out of the way, so that we only negotiate with 1 or 2.
Moving forward, Mr. Kanyama says the Financial Management Act approved by Parliament in 2018 should be followed, and whoever will be found wanting should be prosecuted.
Now have got the financial management policy which is in place, which allows Parliament to approve any debt acquisition. Can we stick to that? Let us stick to that act. The Financial Sector is its Financial Management Act, which was approved by Parliament in 2018. That is the policy that should now guide on data acquisition. Whoever violates this policy should be jailed.
I also spoke to ZANACO Head of Economics and Research, Dr. Patrick Chileshe, on how the current debt situation can be tabled. Dr. Chileshe has advised that there is need to extend the maturity profile of the current debt in order to allow resources to be channeled towards economic sectors.
Modalities in which they can restructure that debt. One way would be to extend the maturity profile of the debt so that the amount of debt service comes relatively lower, and that will be able to release finances to critical sectors such as the health and education sectors, as well as social services.
With lessons learned from the past mistake, correcting the current mess will require government to bring to the table different opinions from different stakeholders. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriotic Front Vice President Given Luwinda has hinted that the resources borrowed by the Patriotic Front government went into good use, which should give Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema a head start. In a statement seen by Camnet News, Mr. Luwinda says President Hichilema has made it appear as though the debt contracted by the Patriotic Front was reckless, when in fact not. He says a statement issued by government on the 21st of October 2021 indicating that the extent of Zambia's debt stock as at June 2021, which stands at $13 billion United States dollars, is exactly as it was reported by the Patriotic Front. The opposition vice president says President Hichilema should be grateful that he is starting off on a sound footing of good infrastructure, which he must build on instead of complaining every day as though he is still in the opposition. Mr. Luwinda has cited some of the infrastructure projects embarked on by the Patriotic Front administration, among them building 8 public universities in various provinces, 650 health posts, 14,000 classrooms, and 8,000-kilometer roads across the country. The United Party for National Independence Party UNIP has called for increased funding to the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services so as to see vulnerable people helped. Speaking when giving assorted items to Matero Home of the Aged, post-independence UNIP Secretary General Mr. Musonda Mwiche says ministries such as Community Development and Social Services need more funding as the work they do has a direct impact on people's livelihoods. He has further called on other political parties to make effort in improving the lives of the citizens.
About 1.7 million people in Zambia, among them the old, persons with disabilities and street kids among other vulnerable groups, have no means of taking care of themselves, according to data from the World Bank. The onset of the coronavirus pandemic has also increased vulnerabilities as it reduced incomes and made the poor poorer. With this data, the United National Independence Party UNIP says there is need for funding priorities in the country to be relooked to see areas such as community development and social services receive more funds to have this group assisted. UNIP Secretary General Mr. Musonda Mwiche was speaking Monday when the party donated various items valued at 3,000 kwacha to Matero Aftercare Home of the Aged in Lusaka post-independence.
There are other needy areas other than just donating meal, cooking oil, or salt and sugar to the aged. We have street kids. We have hospitals that need our attention as political parties. We also have other social sectors, other economic sectors, business. They can also come in and intervene. So we are just showing them that this is the way it's supposed to be, even when we are in opposition. We will not stop this.
The UNIP SG has also called on other political parties to come on board and show leadership even while in the opposition.
For those political parties who are in opposition, there are political parties who are grouped like that as a government in waiting. We believe UNIP was in power before it was in opposition. We believe we are a government in waiting. So in our little way, we know that the same people that we save in opposition are the same people will be saving even when we get to government. So the little that we have, we must share with the people. The ideas that we have may also help the people, even when we are in opposition. So we cannot just sit back and wait until we get to government. That's when our ideas will be seen to be serious.
Meanwhile, one of the recipients from the Home of the Aged has called on other stakeholders, both political and non-governmental organizations, to come forward and emulate the gesture.
Bali fifyonse tulefibika pamu n'obupya obumuleetupera ng'efikuli leero mwatuleetera obupe buli mwe muleti bunono koma kuli fwe bapokerera tuleti fiikalamba bantu tefintu ife tungema n'okuyafifwaya fwekayo.
The party states that with continuous efforts done in unity, the plight of the vulnerable in the country can be addressed. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Opposition Leadership Movement President Richard Silungwe has called on the UPND administration to prioritize areas that will ensure economic independence for the country. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Silungwe has also applauded the UPND administration for its strong message on the need for unity in the country. Dr. Silungwe says the focus for the new administration should be on good policies and favor land ownership for locals to ensure that Zambians are not disadvantaged in their country.
Less developed countries, LDCs, under which Zambia is categorized, are heavily dependent on foreign aid. Many developed countries offer aid to countries like Zambia, which comes in all forms such as goods, services and money aimed at helping the poor population. While seen as a noble cause, the continuous receiving of foreign aid has been observed to have its own negatives, among which are causing overdependence on donor countries and exposing recipient countries to potential political pressure to return the favor. Leadership Movement Party President Dr. Richard Silungwe says the new administration has a task of ensuring economic independence of the country.
At this time, we as a generation, we need to focus on how do we give economic independence to our people. This is where we as Leadership Movement are engaging, or rather emphasizing that we work together as a people to deliver this economic independence. And we urge the government to prioritize areas that give economic independence to the country. So far we have scored in terms of unity, in terms of having a good political atmosphere, which is so promising. We need to now answer the question of unemployment. We need to ensure that young people are given jobs, because it's the energy of the young people that provides the economy that we need.
Dr. Silungwe adds that the new administration should also ensure the formulation of pro-Zambian policies regarding the acquisition of land.
We also want to ensure that every Zambian occupying a piece of land, they own it with title deeds, because that is part of economic emancipation. If Zambians are still squatters after 57 years of independence, it means that we have a problem as a country.
Expectations on the new administration are high, as they have been termed as a new dawn government, entailing that members of the public and stakeholders alike expect to see significant change aimed at improving the livelihood of citizens. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, United Party for National Development Deputy Youth Spokesperson Phineas Pomolo says youth leaders in the party have begun encouraging their party members to take advantage of the Ministry of Small Medium Enterprises Development and form cooperatives in a bid to encourage productivity among the leaders. He has called on other party leaders to embark on the same path, stating that cadreism and the vices associated with it will only end the party's youths.
And I want also to make it very clear that we as UPND, we have made it clear to our youths that we don't want a thuggerism in the markets. And we have come up with different plans where we are going to help our youths. We have encouraged our youths to form our cooperatives. We have encouraged our youth to register companies so that they can go to the ministry that was created for the youths. Those young entrepreneurs, they know those young entrepreneurs where they can go and access their help, because we don't want to have youths who have got nothing to do, because we have the plan for the youths. That's why the president saw it fit and created a ministry that can deal with those upcoming entrepreneurs. So as a party, we have made a very good strive to end cadreism. Because everyone who have something to do at the end of the day. What is making a lot of people to involve in capitalism? Sometimes because they have got nothing to do.
A new Labour Party president, Fresha Siwale, has urged citizens to rally behind the UPND administration in order for the country to gain its economic independence. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Siwale explains that engagements of citizens in matters affecting the country will help government find solutions to the issues that the country is facing. Mr. Siwale reiterates that Zambians must take time and reflect over the country's past events to see possible ways to develop the country.
Now that we've attained political independence, it is time that as citizens of this country, we take time again to reflect, to do self-introspection. Is this the final hurdle that we've achieved? No. The biggest hurdle that we were faced with now is to gain economic independence. And citizens of this country, we must all come together, rally behind, the new leadership, that we engage the new leadership so that we begin to find solutions to the underlying problems in our economy. The first one is the budget reform. The second problem, the underlying problem in the economy that we must resolve, is the mortgage crisis of 1972. The collapse mechanism for continuous recapitalizing of the economy. Now, what has happened over the years? We have failed to resolve the mortgage crisis, and which has rendered the capital base of the Zambian economy to be completely wiped out.
Zambia's fifth Republican president, RUPIAH BANDA, has called on former Republican presidents to remind Zambians of the need to uphold democracy even as the country remembers their fallen heroes. Speaking during the Sunday interview on the national broadcaster, Mr. Banda states that the country's independence still has meaning due to the peaceful handover of power the country has seen in the past years. He has also called on citizens not to despair due to the economic hardships brought about. This can be overcome with hard work.
You're bound to remind the Zambian young people that this is a special day, a day that we must celebrate, we must be proud of, that our parents, our ancestors fought in order for us to be free. We've just gone through an election where the Zambian people have been able to make a change, a peaceful change in accordance with the democracy that we have always fought for before 1964 up to now. All over the world, people are fighting to sustain their democracy, and we had ours. We have a new dawn government right now, ushered in by the people of Zambia, by the majority of the people of Zambia. So we think that this is a special occasion. The people are very proud of the manner in which Zambia has been able since 1964 to sustain its way of changing government. And particularly the most important one, of course, was the
1991.
When we moved back to the multi-party democracy, when Dr. Gaunda, after so many years of being our president, was asked to step aside.
The Zambia Association of Citizen Contractors President Mutale Mpepo has underscored the need for government to continue on the infrastructure approach of development to facilitate other economic ventures. Mr. Mpepo says there is need for constructing more hospitals, schools, roads, among other infrastructure developments, which cannot be overemphasized. Meanwhile, Mr. Mpepo has called on government to embark on more transparent work culture and ensure that cost-reflective projects are enhanced.
Infrastructure development remains a major challenge to growth, economic diversification, and human development in Zambia. Areas for development in this sector include investment in health, education, improving and expanding the rail network to reduce the burden placed on road infrastructure, and constructing additional interprovincial and interdistrict roads to open up the country through the Link Zambia 8000 project. However, in the recent past, this infrastructure have cost much of the country's resources compared to the quality of the projects, which poses concerns by stakeholders and citizens at large. The Zambian Association of Citizen Contractors, President Mutale Mpepo, has underscored the need for government to embark on a more cost-effective infrastructure roadmap to attain quality and durable infrastructure going forward. He says this during an exclusive interview with Camnet TV. Mr. Mpepo is of the view that construction of more hospitals, schools, roads, among other infrastructures, is an agenda that should be continued by the new administration, hence should attract a larger allocation of funds in the 2022 national budget. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet News. We take our first set of commercials. Stay with us.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on National Matters with his guest Tawa Kawana on 25th October 2021 at exactly 20:45 hours.
So that they can cause violence in the country and make the country ungovernable, to try and show that the UPND Alliance government has failed.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market. Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati has noted that many youths in the country are developing technological applications that have the capacity to contribute to the social and technological development of the country, but lack platforms which they can use to showcase their talents. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Mutati explains that due to the continued challenge that these youths face, government has partnered with different private sector companies that can provide a platform where youths might use as their innovation hubs. He reiterates that government is already working with a broader private sector base that will be used to outmeet customers for the applications that are going to be created by the youths.
Okay. The number one thing is that we are partnering with the private sector. We already signed with ZANACO to use their innovation hub in ZANACO, which is already working. And the idea is that there are many young Zambians that have got applications that they are developing, but what they are lacking is a platform that they can use in order to test the efficacy of their application. So we shall be gathering these youths under the innovation hub so that they can be able to test them. Beyond that, we are already working with the broader private sector who can be used as ultimate customers for these applications that are going to be created by the kids. So we are saying is that you create and we assist you to work and make your product market ready.
Alliance for Accountability Advocate Zambia says it is working to ensure that there is a 30% youth representation in all structures of governance, including at ward level. Speaking at the launch of the project dubbed Enhancing Youth and Young Women Participation in Governance, AAZ Executive Director Luchembe Chilufya says his organization will continue to train young people across the country on how they can participate and engage in governance issues. He says there is need for the youths to hold government accountable for all the promises made to the young people and the citizens. And Lusaka Province Administration Assistant Secretary Gomezani Ngondwe, who represented the Provincial Permanent Secretary Elias Kamanga, says government understands that building inclusive societies is a means to attainment of national development.
Forward to seeing more positive results of this the project in Lusaka Province with regard to the capacity building of the project. That is enhancing youth and women, young women participation in governance. To those of you who have been trained, please, I want to say, go back to your communities and influence more to take part in issues of governance.
Our goal for this project is basically to have young people participating in local structures. So we are lobbying from government to have at least 30% youth representation in local structures. This includes ward development committees, the DDCC, the PDCC, and it entails that those that will be participating will continue interacting with them and providing the needed support in terms of the capacity building and the technical support that they need to be sitting in such structures.
The Movement for Restoration of Teachers' Affairs in Zambia has expressed disappointment over the negative feedback from the National Teachers Union leaders to merge. In an exclusive interview, Moreta National Coordinator Dr. Samuel Mbumba says contrary to what was agreed, the unions have decided to go quiet on the matter, which has the potential to cause chaos in the teaching fraternity.
Formed with the core purpose of spearheading the assimilation of the assortment of trade unions among teachers to ensure one voice for teachers across the country, The Movement for Restoration of Teachers' Affairs in Zambia, Moreta Zambia, has expressed disappointment over the negative feedback from the National Teachers Union leaders on the merging agenda. About a month ago, 5 teachers' union met with Moreta Zambia at the Ministry of Education headquarters, where the National Union leaders agreed to meet with the entire Moreta Zambia Executive Committee within a few days to discuss the roadmap over the issue. However, to Moreta's shock, no response has so far been made from the unions. Moreta National Coordinator Dr. Samuel Mbumba says this during an exclusive interview with Camnet TV Monday. Dr. Mbumba has since reminded that the 7 days ultimatum earlier given will soon elapse, by which Moreta will be forced to resort to taking a step that will be very unpleasant to the said unions. In all this, to know whether the merging of teachers' unions works to the advantage of the teachers or not still remains a call for teachers themselves to make. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Lusaka-based medical personnel, Dr. Teddy Mulenga, has called on meningitis patients in the country to comply with health requirements as dictated by the condition. In an interview with Camnet TV, Dr. Mulenga explains that the main procedure of meningitis is lumbar puncture and that it does not cure but rather the actual disease, contrary to the myths across the country. Meanwhile, Esther Munamutue, a 15-year-old girl from Lusaka who suffered from meningitis and called on government and other stakeholders to come to her aid in providing essentials, has died.
Esther Namutue lived with hope that she will one day receive the medical assistance she was seeking for. But before her dreams would even turn into reality, death knocked at her door. 15-year-old Namutue first appeared on Camnet TV on the 17th of October 2021 when her family narrated her story on how meningitis left her paralyzed and how she was then seeking for well-wishers to come on board and finance for her medical treatment, as her family had no means to help her get the required treatment due to lack of finances.
Mwana ali munyumba bati twaesa mwandini na mpamvu twaesa kliniki twalema pa mwana uyu situzi wavamentu ngachite imwe ndi mwakulu amengunga yangane palisi mutupasa chili chonse kuti mwana zizi wako panja moendela mwana mwandini twakangiwa mwana akulila munyumba situzi wavamentu ngachite paliyeve pa life yake
siva saputa so physically vukudia vyanga funeve sitingakwanise vinango so beta mungatanzie kwa pena mwatasi ko drama ngamba tangulira ko sawa.
Namutue, who appeared so much needing assistance, died on the 23rd of October 2021 at her place in Chawama compound. Meningitis has proved to be a serious health condition which has now seen health personnel calling for patients with such conditions to comply with the health guidelines laid down for them by the Ministry of Health.
You can suspect meningitis when you start developing fever and very severe headaches. If you are not taken for treatment, you soon become unconscious. So meningitis is a very serious disease. Within a period of 1 day, it can actually take your life if not treated. And we advise that people should have and should agree to a lumbar puncture because it's life-saving. Because without us doing lumbar puncture, we wouldn't know what kind of meningitis we need to treat. Whether it is fungal, whether it is tuberculosis, whether it is bacterial, or whether it is viral.
Approximately 2.8 million cases and over 300,000 deaths related to meningitis occur worldwide each year, according to PATH, despite the availability of a vaccine against meningitis. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
This is Camnet News. We take another set of commercials. When we return, we have sports and international news. Stay with us.
At Savenda Express Printing, we have the capacity to deliver quality in all kinds of printing services timely. Our lines of production include screen printing, embroidery, lithography, and large format printing. We take pride in delivering quality work at very competitive rates with our in-house, highly experienced and qualified designers. With the ability to print full color and embossing prints, our state-of-the-art screen printing machines are able to print 1,000 pieces per hour. Our embroidery machines are able to print any logo with 1 or up to 12 colors all at once and has an output capacity of 100 pieces per hour. Savenda Express Printing also does large format printing for billboards, banners, vinyl, car stickers, posters, tire covers, cups, pens, bags, flasks, packaging boxes, and well, just anything that can need printing. For inquiries, give us a call on 0960 344 471.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Join Pastor Moses Chiluba on National Matters with his guest Tabakawana on 25th October 2021 at exactly 20:45 hours.
So that they can cause violence in the country and make the country ungovernable, to try and show that the UPND Alliance government has failed.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Sudan's military has placed Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok under house arrest after moving him to a known location for refusing to support a coup, according to the Information Ministry. The chairman of Sudan's ruling body, General Abdel Fattah, later announced that the dissolution of the transitional government and the Sovereign Council and declared a nationwide state of emergency. Here's a roundup of international stories.
More about who is arrested and their whereabouts is very hard because of the internet shutdown that the government has imposed, as well as the restricted phone access. It's very hard to make calls, near impossible actually to make calls on landlines around Khartoum because of the restrictions that has been imposed. But we have been going around parts of Khartoum and we've been able to see people lighting up tires. Many parts of Khartoum, you can see black smoke from the tires rising, and that's in resistance to the latest developments. We've also seen vehicles blocking all the bridges and roads leading to the city of Khartoum. That's where the presidential palace is. That's where the prime minister's office is. And that's where most government institutions is. So it's obvious that there are fast developments that are happening, which many people here are now regarding as a coup, especially because the guiding principle, the guiding document that's guiding this transitional government is the Constitutional Declaration, the power-sharing agreement that was signed between the military and civilians in August 2019. And it makes it very clear that should the military move or should any side move to make changes in the makeup of the transitional government without the agreement of the others, then that is considered a coup. Now, political parties have called on their supporters to take to the streets, and that's what's happening, although they are dispersed around the three cities of the capital Khartoum because of the shutdown because of the restrictions of access to bridges and roads leading to Khartoum. But many parts of Khartoum and Omdurman and Khartoum North, people are burning tires, people are taking to the streets. We still don't know where the Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok is, but we know that his cabinet minister Khalid Omar has been arrested. We also know that the Minister of Industry has been arrested and the Minister of Information as well. Now, it's not clear how far this coup goes. It's not clear how many ministers have been arrested since the internet and telecommunications shutdown has imposed. But people on the streets are really upset. We can hear them chanting. You can see the tires that they're burning. You can see the black smoke rising. And they're saying that this is a revolution that started in 2018 and is obviously far from over if the military is not willing to hand over power to a civilian rule.
Yeah, Heba, as we're talking to you, we're seeing some of the latest pictures on our screens of those protests on the street, fires being set. What about state media, Heba, and are we expecting any kind of statement from the military? I mean, they've been pretty conspicuous by their silence.
Yes, indeed. Now, state media is yet to issue any kind of statement, to even give an announcement that there is a statement expected from any government official at all. The Minister of Information, who's the government spokesperson, is obviously under arrest, so he will not be able to give that statement. But we're yet to hear for any statement from the military, from the Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok, from anyone in his press office. Now, this is a very stark contradiction to when an attempted coup happened on the 21st of September, just last month, when the state media immediately issued a red banner saying that there is an attempted coup and that the military is working to contain it. And a few hours later, it read a statement by the press advisor of the head of the Sovereignty Council, who's also the commander-in-chief.
In this part of Wajir County, there's nothing left to eat for Abdirahman Hussein Abdi's remaining cattle. Nearly every day he wakes up to this. His animals are wasting away and dying from hunger and disease. He says his prized bull that would on a good day cost around $700 does not have long to live either. Most of the animals here in northeastern Kenya are in poor condition. He's desperate.
We're struggling. Of 700 cattle for 3 families, so there's only 300 left. They're malnourished. The ones that appear healthy just drop. I'm not sure what's affecting them.
In another village many kilometers away, Shaban Isaac is just getting back home from a 4-hour trek to fetch water for his family and the sheep and goats he desperately needs to keep alive. Dead and dying livestock scatter his compound.
For 7 months we've been fetching water from very far away.
Malnutrition rates continue to rise. Children are receiving emergency food supplies from aid agencies.
Our children are affected. They get sick often. We hope to get more food for them. Many people are suffering from the drought.
The local government is distributing hay, nutritional livestock pellets, as well as transporting water to the most remote villages. But the need is too great.
Herders from different communities across the region come to watering points such as this one to share the resource. But because of the drought, the water is running low, so is pasture, and government officials tell us they're overwhelmed.
The drought in parts of Kenya, worsened by climate change, has been declared a national disaster. Here in Wajir, pastoralists tell us it has not rained for the last 2 years. Weathercasters say the current short rains will not help much.
The food security currently is in the 3rd phase, what they call critical. And if we may not receive adequate rainfall in the coming few days, then definitely it's not something we can handle as a county. The resources we have is very limited.
Times are hard, even for the most resilient of animals. Rare wildlife species found only in this part of the country are also succumbing to hunger, thirst, and exhaustion. Back in the village, Abdirahman Hussein tells us he's helpless as he watches his animals die every day. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera.
Before we go into sports, here's an item just received on our desk. Constitutional Court Judge Muila Chitabo has died. Judge Chitabo was recently appointed to the Constitutional Court by former President Edgar Lungu. News reaching Camnet TV is that the deceased passed on this evening around 18 hours at the University Teaching Hospital in Lusaka. He is said to have died due to low blood pressure and diabetes. May his soul rest in peace. We'll go straight into sports news from now. The Football Association of Zambia has called on football local players to emulate the hard-working spirits of the likes of DAKA and MWEPU and Barbara, who are representing the country so well on the international front. In an interview with Camnet TV, FAR's communications manager Sydney Mungala says there is no limit for local players so long as they put in their best. Mungala adds that Zambia having many players on the international field will have great positive impacts on the local football in Zambia.
The Football Association of Zambia has called on local football players to emulate the culture of hard work and adopt spirits of likes of DAKA, MWEPU, and Barbara, who are representing the country so well in international clubs. In an interview with Camnet Sports, FAR's communications manager Sydney Mungala says there is no limit how far the local players can go when they apply and sit to work hard.
For him, but also for the country. We just hope that this is going to inspire many other Zambian players to ensure that they work hard. They should not relent in their pursuit of excellence, because there is no limit as to how far a player can go if they apply themselves. DAKA rose from our local league here. He applied himself. He played for clubs like Power Dynamos, Nchanga Rangers, and he's a product of Kafue Celtic. So
Mungala adds that Zambia, having a lot of players playing internationally, will have a great positive impact on the football game in the country.
He has grown through our league, and he has proved that through hard work you can get to the top of the game. The same for MWEPU, who plays for Brighton. He has also risen through the ranks, and we hope that these examples, there's also Fashion Sakala in Scotland, who plays for Glasgow Rangers. So we just hope that our local players can apply themselves and seek to work hard. There will be no limit as to how far they can go, and I will keep encouraging them. The more players we have in our European leagues, the stronger our national team is going to be. So we are confident that many more players will follow the path that Patson has taken, but it is going to demand hard work on their part.
The association has since encouraged the local players to remain disciplined and focused even as they participate in various tournaments. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
Well, that sports item ends our news headlines once again. Government advised to consolidate or accrue date to ease the burden. PF Vice President justifies the use of public resources in the last 10 years. Zambia's fourth Republican President, RUPIAH BANDA, reminds leaders to uphold peace. In international news, Sudan's Prime Minister HAMDOK under house arrest. And in sports news, Zambian players urged to emulate MWEPU and DAKA. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from Proverbs 10, verse 9, and it reads, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Well, that's all we had for you on the desk. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good night.